I'm your Get Set Up guide for today. A little bit of information about me. I'm calling in from San Jose, California. That is in Northern California in the heart of Silicon Valley. I did work in high tech for 30 years doing a number of different things, everything from technical support to lots of technical training, instructional design. And I've been able to teach students from around the world. I've taught students who were very technical, as well as folks who are just starting to dip their toes into this world of technology. And for me, being a guide with Get Set Up enables me to do what I love, and that is to be able to educate folks about technology. So a little bit about me, just some housekeeping details to cover before we hop right into it. Ideally, we are a training organization. We love it when you can turn your cameras on, but I do understand when some people are camera shy. I don't insist that you turn your cameras on. It's just nice to be able to see each other. You can see other folks. So I leave that up to you. And today we are recording our session. If you would like a copy of the recording, you can always email us at help@getsetup.io. And we put that information into the chat as well. Today, we are being joined by some folks from Livestream. Hello out there. You can see and hear everything that we're doing in class today, but I always recommend that folks register for class so you can fully participate with us. And lastly, Get Set Up as a training organization. We are not paid to promote any products or services. We are all about the training, about getting folks connected so that you can take full advantage of our platform. We have classes 7 days a week. We have social hours. We have interest groups. We're also offering these not only from the US, but India, Canada, Australia, the UK. So we've got you covered 24/7. Lots to do. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, what are we going to be talking about today? For those of you who are new to the world of Google, we're just going to make sure everybody understands what is Google Drive. And then we're going to make sure everyone's comfortable navigating in Google Drive. I'll be demonstrating today using the web version of Google Drive. And I'm going to ask folks today, if you could please mute yourself, if everyone could just mute their microphone. And if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself or post your questions to the chat. As well as navigating, I'm going to show you how you can create files and folders, but also how you can do some of the other basic functions such as renaming and deleting files and copying and moving them around. And we'll talk a little bit about sharing files and folders, because that's a big feature of the Google apps, is this ability to share documents, share files, and then collaborate with them with other folks. So just a quick knowledge check. I'm just curious, how many folks are currently using any of the Google apps, maybe either Gmail or Google Docs or Sheets? You can just raise your hand just to give me a shout out. Okay, so a couple of folks, yeah, okay, great. So a few of you maybe have been very adventurous. That's wonderful. For those of you who are really brand new to this world of Google and are trying to figure out what is this stuff, let's start off by talking about what is Google Drive very quickly. It's your own little personal storage area within the Google Cloud. And so when you are working with the Google apps, you're creating different files, documents using any of the apps, those files are being stored in your Google Drive. So when you create your Google account, which is free, that Google Drive comes with your Google account. Now, all of the files that are in your Google Drive are private. They're not seen by anyone else. They can't be accessed by anyone else until you share those files with others. And that's up to you. Now, with your Google Drive, you get a free storage capacity of 15 gigabytes. And I'm going to show you how you can see your current storage capacity, your status, as well as where you can purchase additional storage. And purchasing additional storage really is not expensive at all. So I know people are so worried about, oh, what happens when I run out? You can purchase additional storage and you'll see it's not very expensive. The nice thing about working with your Google Drive, your files are automatically backed up and they're always available on any device that you access them with. So for example, let's just say you created a document using one of the Google apps, maybe Google Docs. You created it using a laptop. Let's say something happens to that laptop. Your hard drive goes kaflooey. Your file that you created is still in your Google Drive. It's still available and you can access it with any other device. So that's really nice when you're working with Google Drive. Let me know if you have any questions about what I've talked about. And Nelda, you have a question. You get free gigabytes on the cloud. Is the 15 gigabytes on top of the Google Drive? No, that is included with your Google Drive. So when you first sign up with your Google account, that Google Drive, you get a total of 15 gigabytes of free storage to start with. So that's all encompassing. Jane, did you have a question?
Yes. Google Drive, is that with Google and OneDrive? Is that the one that's not OneDrive is with
Microsoft. Yeah, they're two completely different applications, two different companies. Google Drive is Google's application and OneDrive is Microsoft's. And if you're on a laptop, a PC like I am, I have both. The OneDrive comes with your laptop, just like Google Drive comes with your Google account. Hopefully that helped clear that up. I know a lot of us have both and people are like, well, what's this and what's that? So great question. Thanks, Jane. So how do you access your Google Drive? And it really helped me a lot when I started working with Google. You know, I would create documents using Google Doc and Google Sheet. And honestly, I had no idea where these files are being stored. Somebody would share a file with me and like, I don't know where this is. When I figured out how to use Google Drive, that helped pull it together for me. So today I'm working on a PC, I'm working on my laptop. So I'm going to be demonstrating everything using the web browser version of Google Drive. Some of you may be on a tablet or on your smartphone, and the concepts are all the same. It's just a little bit different if you're working on your Google Drive app on your device. You're just going to access some of the menus differently. And what I've done is I won't be able to show those to you on different devices, but in the after class notes that I'm sending out today, I have a number of different screenshots that will show you on and I have an iPad mini and an iPhone, show you how to access those different menus that we'll be working with from your mobile device. So I'll be working off of the browser version. Let me just show you, if you're working on a laptop or a PC, what it looks like to access your Google Drive. So what I've done is I have another web browser open over here, and let's share that with you. And I just opened up my web browser. I've gone to google.com. I've logged into my Google account. And what I'll do is once I've logged in, there is what we call this little waffle icon. It looks like a grid. I'm going to click on that waffle icon, and this is a listing of all the different apps that are available to me once I've logged into my Google account. Here's my Google Drive app. I'll click on it to open it up. And again, if you were on a mobile device such as a tablet or a phone, you're going to be you're going to be installing the Google app from either your App Store or your Google Play Store. So it's just a slightly different experience there, but everything I do today, you'll be able to do on your device. So this is what Google Drive looks like when you open it. Now, I've been working with Google Drive for a little while, so you'll see in this quick access area, I have a number of different, these are actually files. And what the quick access does for you as you start working with Google Drive and you start opening up files, Google remembers this. And so they will actually put a number of different files up here in your quick access bar or area that they think that you're going to want to work with. So they remember which files you've been opening up most recently. So that's what the quick access is. If this is your first time opening up your Google Drive, you won't have anything in the quick access yet. Underneath that quick access, this is where you're going to start to see files and folders. That's what I call it, the files and folders section right over here. And we'll be getting into this in just a moment. I'm just giving you the layout, if you will. Over here on the left-hand side, this is this navigation panel. What you're seeing is these are system-generated folders. And underneath my drive over here, I'm just going to expand it by clicking on this little arrow over here. It looks like a triangle. And when I do that, I've created, these are my personal folders that I've created, and they're sitting right here under my drive. And so again, this is the navigation panel with both system-generated folders as well as personal folders that you've created. And we're going to take a look at this in just a moment. Let me know again if you have any questions. I just want to hop back to my slides for a moment so I can talk to you about, we talked a little bit, we're starting to talk about this layout. I'm going to show you how to get into different views. But I wanted to talk about, I call this Working with Folders 101. And I find that when folks are just starting to work with something like, a Google Drive, they're not quite comfortable yet with translating, what they know into how do you work with these electronic folders and files. So the analogy that I give is, in a past life, we've all worked with these, filing cabinets. So think about when you open up your filing cabinet, that's really your Google Drive, if you will. And within your drive, remember we have all these folders. I still have a filing cabinet at home. So I have lots of different folders in my filing cabinet. Each of these folders, and you'll see, I've tried to show you here on the right, these are the electronic version. This is your Google Drive, which correlates to your filing cabinet. Within your filing cabinet, you will have different folders. And if you open up your folders, this is where you'll have your different files, whether they're documents or spreadsheets, maybe they're images. So hopefully for some of the folks who are just starting off, this will just give you an example of what you're looking at when you open up Google Drive. Just keep in mind, filing cabinet, open up my manila folders, and inside each folder, there could be different documents. So I'm hoping that helps you a little bit. stop me if you have any questions. I'm going to hop back over to my Google Drive app. And let's go ahead and just start diving into this. So I want to show you how you can start creating folders and then files within those folders. Over here on the left-hand side, I have a big new button, and there are different ways of doing this, but let's start off by clicking on, if I click on that new button, I have a menu that drops down. You can see folder, file, upload, folder, upload, because there's two ways of creating files and folders. You can create them manually, which is what I'm going to show you, or you can upload files and folders from your device. So let's go ahead and see what it's like. I'm clicking on a folder. I'm going to manually create a folder. And I have another screen that pops up here. I'm just going to call this Thursday for lack of a better, more creative example. So I have created a new folder, and you'll see it shows up right here. If I double click on or tap on my Thursday folder, it's blank. I don't have anything in there yet. There's different ways that I can put files in there. I can drag and drop files, or I can create files. So let me show you one way of creating a brand new file. I can do it from within Google Drive. So I'm going to click on that new button again, and you'll see down here, it says Google Docs, Google Sheets. These are all the different Google apps that are available to you with your Google account. If I move over, let's say I wanted to create a document, there is this little arrow, a black arrow that is pointing to the right. When I hover over that or select it, I see that I can create either a blank document using Google Docs, or I can create a new document from a template. I'm just going to select blank document. What's happening next is Google Docs, the actual application, is being opened, and I can just say, you know, this is my test document for Thursday. There you go. I can title this document. And then I'm not showing you how to use Google Docs. I'm just showing you how easy it is to create a new document. I'm going to close this tab. And here is my brand new document. So I've started in Google Drive, and simply by clicking on that new button, selecting a Google app that I would like to create the document with. And then when I hover over this button, my little arrow button, I can start creating a document right then and there. Let me know if you have any questions about that.
Do you have, so the Google Docs or Sheets or whatever, are they considered a file already, or is the file when you click on whatever one, the docs, and the blank, what is it, blank document, is that the file?
Yes, so great question. You're right. When I click on that new button and I come down here, this is simply a list of the different applications. These aren't files yet. So what you would do is, by coming over here and selecting this little arrow here, selecting blank document or from a template, you are creating the file, and you're going to be creating it using, in this example, Google Docs. So yes, and that's exactly what I did. And this is the result. This is now a new file that I've created in my Thursday folder. So I'm hoping that helps.
Good,
All right.
good morning, Vicki. What is more?
What is
more? Yes, when you opened it up, it went to more. What is more?
These
More
are some
documents.
additional Google apps that are available to you.
So what's a Google app script? What is that?
The scripts, I haven't worked with scripts. That's a really great idea. Great question. Great question. I'll check it out for you and I'll add
And
it
then
to,
and then it says connect more apps. I mean, I never went in there, but I'm looking at this was you. This is Rochelle. Hi. But I'm
hello.
looking at this and I'm like, I didn't know what that was. The more was. Okay. So
Yeah.
I see Google Maps and Google Sites and Stripped. And what's a Jamboard?
A Jamboard is a whiteboard. So if you know what, Rochelle, what would be great for you is we actually offer an intro to Google Apps class where we talk about these apps. So that would be a class for you to take.
Okay, I'll look at the schedule.
Sure, intro to Google Apps. And I'll show us at the end of class, I'll be happy to hop on up on the Get Set Up site and we can take a look at some of the other Google classes.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
After you do your document, how do you get back to the to the page that shows the
Oh, your Google Drive?
yes, how do you get back?
Sure. So when you open up when you create a file, I'm just going to create another.
The last time was March 23rd.
Oops, who is that? Everybody needs to mute themselves.
Today. And I had a new battery January.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and just mute everybody.
Tell you
Okay.
the date of that.
All right. So what I'm doing here is I'll just do another test file just like that. And what I did was I closed this tab over here. You'll see I'm clicking on the X, closing the tab. The other thing I could have done, to be honest with you, is I just clicked, I can go back to this tab over here, my Google Drive. And that's how I'm hopping back and forth between these two. And so that's one of the ways that you can start adding files to your Google Drive. You can create them manually. Another option to start adding files to your Google Drive, you can upload files from your hard drive, from your device. So for example, if I click on the new button again, I'm going to then click on File Upload, and I'm on a PC. So what it's doing is, and here's my intro to Google Apps. It's looking at my C drive, my hard drive. I'm selecting a particular file from my device. And then what Google Drive is doing is it is uploading that file. It lets you know when it's finished. I'm just going to close down this little message box over here. And here is my file that I've uploaded. And so again, I simply clicked on the new button, file upload, and then what it will do is it will ask you, well, where on your device would you like to go to select this file? And you can select multiple files, one file. The other thing that you can do is when you click on the new button, and I'm just going to go back to my drive. So the way that you can navigate through your different folders on your Google Drive is you can come up here. They call this breadcrumbs, and you can simply click on my drive to get back to that top level where you see all of your folders here. You can also, another fast way to navigate is from this left navigation panel. You can also click on my drive and that brings you back to the same place. So let me show you, if I click on the new button, I can upload a folder from my, my PC. And I have a number of different folders here. I would just select a folder and then it would upload, for example, if I just clicked on resources, I don't have anything in there. Of course, I'm selecting things where I have nothing in there, of course, but I could upload the entire folder and all of its contents. And it'll ask me, do I trust this? I'll say, sure, let's upload it. And I have a number of different files in there. it shows you that green checkbox once it's done. And then here is my new folder that I've uploaded. If I double click on it, Advanced Zoom, I have a number of different folders, files in that folder. And again, you can use this left navigation panel by clicking on My Drive. It just brings me to the very top of that hierarchy, if you will, where you can see all of your different folders. Does anyone have any questions about creating new folders manually from this new button, creating new files within a folder?
Yes,
Yes, sure, Jane.
I open my drive and I don't get this page that you have on my phone. And it's already, I put the app in, it's been in. And it
Right.
doesn't give me this folder at all.
And so on your folder, because I remember I'm working on the PC version, the web browser version. If you happen to have 3 parallel lines on the upper left-hand corner of your phone when you've opened up your drive, if you tap on those 3 horizontal lines,
Yes.
you will then get there's another menu that drops down where you'll see recent offline trash. So that's one of your, what's the word I'm looking for? Menus. And then you may see on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, there's a plus sign. And when you tap on that plus sign icon, that's where you'll see your Create New. So again, remember, I'm on the PC version, and I'll be sending you screenshots of how you can open up these same menus on your device. So just, kind of sit back and just take it all in. And then when I send the after class notes, you'll be able to see how to do this on your device as well. So you can just practice. All right.
I have a question, Vicki.
Yeah, sure.
If I just got a new MacBook and I have created some documents in Pages, I guess they call it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I also have used Google Docs on my iPad. And I'm wondering, I'm kind of liking Google Docs better than Pages. And I'm wondering if I upload the ones I've created in Pages to my Google Drive, is it okay to go ahead and just delete them from Pages after I've uploaded them?
Yeah, if you want to. So when I uploaded this Advanced Zoom folder with all the files, what it's doing is it's making a copy of those files. It's not removing them from your device. It's simply making a copy and adding them to, in this case, my Google Drive under this Advanced Zoom folder. So you certainly can go ahead and delete them if that's what you want.
Okay.
Up to you.
The copy is fine to keep then as your original then.
Yes. Yeah, you sure can. So
good.
yeah, I wanted to make a note of that. Bruce, did you have a question? I saw you had raised your hand.
Yes, I did. Thank you. I'm trying to switch from Dropbox, which charges so much for more space than I need, to Google Drive. Does Google Drive actually store a folder on the PC, or is it all completely in the cloud?
It's all completely in the cloud. Now, just know, Bruce, that you can also download files from your Google Cloud to your device. So not only can you upload them, but you can turn around and download them. But everything in your Google Drive is in the cloud. Nothing is stored on your device itself.
And another question then, because I once got hacked with ransomware, and then it synced and encrypted my Dropbox as well from my computer. So is Google Drive, are the documents safe from hacking like that?
That is such a good question. I don't want to give you a definitive answer yet before, and I hate to say, oh, totally yes or totally no. Let me do a little bit of research on that for you, and I'll include it with our after class notes. I hate to say, oh, everything is perfectly safe always. In the cloud, it is protected, but let me do a little research on that, if that's okay, before I give you my definitive answer.
Okay. And like, so if let's say you could get hacked today,
Mhm.
is there a snapshot of what you had yesterday that then you can return to and restore?
You can, I know with the individual applications, they have version control. So you can always, for example, if you were to, open up, let's say Thursday, if I were to open up a particular file, I can always go back to earlier versions because it automatically, as you start working on documents, Google keeps track of what they call version control. So you can always go back one version. Yeah. Great questions, though. All right. I'm going to keep us moving. I wanted to show you a few things that you can do, how you can manipulate files. So what I've done is in my Google Drive, I'm going to go ahead and just open up my Thursday folder. And I want to show you some of the things that you can do to your, with your files. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. So again, I'm on the web version. I'm working on my PC, and I'm going to right click on a file. Simply right clicking brings up a whole nother menu with all these different options. I'm not going to go through every single option because it's a lot to take in. Just a few basic options or actions that I wanted to show you. One of the first things you can do is let's make a copy. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click on make a copy. So what I'm doing is I'm making a copy of another test file. I'm going to click on make a copy. Just give it a moment. And you can see here is my copy of another test file. If I right click again on this file, I bring up my menu, my actions menu. Another thing that I can do is if I click on rename, it allows me to rename this. So I might want to call it, Thursday test file. I'm not very creative today, sorry. And now I've renamed this file. So I've made a copy, I can rename it. If I right click on that file name again, there are a few additional things I wanted to show you. If I click on add to start, what that's doing is it first puts that little star on there. It's the same thing if you think of it as making it a favorite. So when you make a file, a starred file, what it's doing is it's flagging it. And then if you come down here on the left-hand side, you'll see that one of these system generated folders is called starred. If I click on this starred folder, I then see my Thursday test file show up. So this is a good thing to know about. If there are certain files that you're working with a lot and that are important to you, you might want to flag them as starred. And then when you open up your Google Drive, they're always, it's a quick shortcut. When you click on starred, these are all of the files that you've starred or flagged as being a favorite. And so that's another thing that you can do. That's how this starred folder is working. Let me just go back up here and click on my Thursday folder to show all the different files that I have there. If I go back to my Thursday test file, another thing, if I right click on that file, I can delete it by clicking on the remove button. And what it does is it moves it to trash. I can download the file. I can also move it. So when you're moving your files, you can move them from one folder to another. One way of doing this is, again, I'm on my laptop, so I'm working with a mouse today. If you click on a file, you can then drag it wherever you'd like. And when you find a file that you'd like to move it into, you simply release that. You'll see it's now gone from my Thursday folder, but if I click on my finances folder, there it is. So that's one way of moving files around. There's clicking and dragging. And again, depending upon what type of a device you're on, do you feel comfortable clicking and dragging? Otherwise, right-clicking on a file, and again, I'm on my PC, you can use the Move To feature or action. If I click on Move To, it's going to bring up another menu. And this is where I can use that back arrow to just find the folder that I want to move it to, and then click Move. I know you need to practice this, so don't panic and you're like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what she just did. I'm just showing you the different options that are available to you when you're working with your Google Drive files. You're going to need to practice this. And again, remember, you can take this class as many times as you wish. Also, you can get a recording of the class and just kind of go through it on your own to do some practicing. And so again, yeah, question.
Okay, this is like on my emails. There's a lot of emails that I like to save. So on my email page, on kind of like the one on the drive here, I can make a folder. So I've got a bunch of folders on there with all my emails that I have saved. Is there a way I can move all of that into my Google Drive?
Move emails over. Okay, so you're talking about two different apps. Move emails from email, which maybe like your Google, your Gmail, to my email,
or it's my cbcglobal.com, which is I think AT&T. But
okay.
I've been making files or folders just like this, but like there's a bunch of a program I'm on, and so every week they send me something, so I put it in there in that folder because I've named it. And I'm just, but I don't know if my computer ever goes out, I think I will lose all of that because I don't know if it's saved in the iCloud. I think it's just saved on my computer. So I was just wondering if there's a way that I can move all of those folders into the drive.
Yeah, I think what you might have to do, and I'm going to verify this for you, you may have to first download them. I don't think you can upload them directly, and I'm going to verify this for you, into your Google Drive, but you may have to download them first and then from your device upload them into your Google Drive. So let me check on that for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, great question though. I just want to verify that. And I'll also provide a listing of the steps to do that. So
I'm interested in that same question too. Whether or not you can move access emails into to Google Drive Cloud.
Okay. Yep. We'll find that out for you, and I'll provide the steps as well. I just want to make sure. I don't know if you can do it in one, move. I don't think so. My gut is telling me we need to download those first and then move them, but I could be wrong. So let's find that out.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Related to Gmail that's already supposedly in Google Drive. When I get Gmails that I do not wish to keep and I delete them, does that automatically delete them from the drive?
Actually, it deletes them from, you don't access your Gmails directly from Google Drive, but it's all encompassing in that 15 gigabytes of storage, so that when you delete your emails, you're actually freeing them up, freeing space up on your Google Drive.
Good.
And so, yeah.
Very good. One other question back to the starred files.
Yeah.
Is that like creating a copy and putting it in starred? And does that increase your storage that you've used?
What it's doing is it is creating a link, really. It's not another copy, it's a link. So this Thursday test file, it's still in my Thursday folder. I've just created a link. So this is a really quick way when you click on star. You don't have to start hunting through your different files. Right. You're like, yep, this is the one I need to open this up, every morning. It's just, it's a shortcut. It's a link.
Okay. So it's not another copy.
No.
Okay. No. Very good. Thank you.
Great question. Sandra, did you have a question?
Yes, I do. I'm a little confused about why you would want to transfer email messages into the drive, because once they're in the drive, you wouldn't be able to manipulate them as email anymore, would you? I mean, what would they be?
They would just be a document.
They'd be a document, but you couldn't then forward them, answer them, or do anything with them like a message.
No, and it's
correct?
only if you, that's correct, yes.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking if folks have information that they wanted to maintain, for their files, and not keep them on their email, in their email. Sometimes people do that if maybe they're, paragraphs in an email that you want to use as part of a document. That's another way, another reason why you might want to keep them on your Google Drive. Yep.
So could you, in that case, then you could also copy a portion of the text of an email, or you could copy, like if there was a link to something, a website in an email, you could copy that link and then save it in say a Google Docs
yeah,
file.
Exactly.
So you could get that, you could save that information, but it wouldn't have to be in the form of an email message.
Correct. Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah. And other questions?
Well,
hi.
I just want to know, why would you want to transfer your emails to that drive? Aren't the emails safe right where they are?
Yeah, and it's, I probably wouldn't do something like that. You can keep your emails where they are.
Yeah, that's why I didn't think that made sense.
And they're saved on an email server, which is in the cloud, unless there's specific information that you want to keep in a document. Maybe you refer to it a lot and you don't feel like hunting through your emails, even though you can create folders in your emails as well.
Right. Exactly.
But sometimes people are nervous, their emails get hacked, and there are certain email messages that they just want to make sure are safe, and you can, put it in your Google Drive. So it really depends on what you want to do.
Okay.
What's important to you, but yeah, great question. So I'm going to keep us moving. I have a couple of things that I want to talk to you about. If you, I'm just going to right click on today's file right over here. Well, let's see if I can find a better one. Let's go back up to the Thursday drive. If I wanted to delete another test file, I would right click on it and then I would select remove. And it is now deleted from that folder. And you'll see it's been moved to trash. If I click on the left panel over here, if I click on the trash icon, this is one of those system generated folders. what it does is it brings up all of the documents that I've deleted. Now you'll notice here it says items in the trash are deleted forever after 30 days. So it will keep your documents in this trash folder for 30 days, and then they are removed. You no longer have access to them. But if you have deleted something by mistake and you want to restore it, within this trash folder, you can right click on a file and you can restore it. So it'll bring it back into its original folder. Or if you're concerned about saving space, you can delete one or more files forever. So you don't have to wait for that 30 days. You can say, you know what, let's just get it off of my Google Drive now. And so this is your trash folder and how you might want to retrieve or restore, I should say, a file that you may have deleted by mistake. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is storage. So remember, we have 15 gigabytes of free storage that comes with your Google Drive. And as you start to use your Google Drive and start uploading files and adding files, there's this gray bar over here. It's a status bar really. And as you start using up more and more of your storage, you'll see this blue color that starts appearing on your gray status bar. And it's a visual that shows you how much storage you've used up and how much you have left. And so if you're starting to get worried about, oh, I'm coming up to that 15 gigabytes of that limit, if you click on buy storage, it brings you to some options here. So here's that free 15 gigabytes. What you can do next is for $2 a month, you can purchase an additional 100 gigabytes. For an additional $3 a month, you get 300 gigabytes. And then we make a big jump to what's called 2 terabytes. And that's for $10 a month. So that's a lot of storage, but it's available to you. And I would say, if you're finding that you have to keep buying more and more storage, just think about, are there some emails that you might, be able to delete that you're really not using anymore? Are there files in the trash that you're like, you know what, I just need to wipe it off my Google Drive? And also just know that when you're starting to add or store more files to your Google Drive, if you're storing lots of images, photos, or videos, they take up more space than just typical documents. So just things to be aware of. The next thing that I wanted to show you is how you can, share a file with others. So Google is all about file sharing and collaboration. And when you are working in any of the Google apps, you can share that particular file or document that you're currently working on. You can also do this from within your Google Drive. So I've just gone into my Thursday folder. I'm just right-clicking on this particular file. And if I select this action share, what it's going to allow me to do is specify emails of one or more people. So I have a couple of test accounts here. I can just specify an email address, or I can multiple email addresses. And then I can say, well, do I want this person that I'm sharing the file with to be able to edit it, just make comments, or simply view it? And then I can send out a quick message. Hi, please review and make edits. And then click on send. And what I've done is I have now shared this file with someone else. And you'll see that there's another icon that pops up next to it, a little symbol here, which tells me that I've shared files with someone. Now, when people are starting to share files with you, it will show up in your Google Drive underneath this shared with me. Now, I don't have anything in this test account that I've been sharing, but those shared files will show up right here in this shared with me area.
Could you show us again how you got to the shared file?
Sure. Let me go to another file here. So, and we have a class on how to do this, collaborating with Google Apps. I just right-clicked, and again, I'm on the web version. I'm working on my PC, so I'm right-clicking on my mouse, and I just clicked on share.
Okay, you have a file. You clicked on a file.
I right-clicked on that file, and then I selected the share option.
Yeah.
And then from there, you specify who you want to share it with, what can they do with that file, and so on. And so those are the basics that I wanted to cover today. And just know that you'll see they have this search drive. You can actually specify, I'm just going to put out the word snow. You can type out a word, you go to the title of a file or folder that you're searching for. You can type out some text that may be contained within a file that you're searching for. So Google has some very, lots of great search capabilities within your Google Drive. I only have a few files and folders, but as you start really using your Google Drive, you're going to start uploading files, creating files, and Google provides you with a very powerful searching capability that will allow you to search through all those folders and files to locate the file that you're looking for. And so that's in this, this search file, the search field, excuse me, right here where it says search in Drive. So I just wanted to point that out to you. There's a lot of great search capabilities. Any other questions that you might have today before we just wrap it up? Yeah, Sandra.
Is there a way to empty the whole trash, or do you have to just choose one file at a time and say, yes, delete this forever?
Do you see where it says, I clicked on the trash folder, and on the upper right-hand corner here, it says empty trash.
Where's, oh.
Right over here. Do you see where I'm circling around it where it says empty trash? I'm on my PC here.
Okay, I think my
it might be
my gallery is in the way.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see it. Now I see it. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. So yes, you can empty all the trash. You can, I'm just going to click and hold my shift key. You can select multiple files and then, right click on that and say delete forever.
Okay.
So there are different ways of doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
You can
Would you say it's more typical to create your files in, say, Google Docs or Google Sheets or whatever the application is, and then kind of organize them in Google Drive? Is that?
Yeah, you can certainly do that. And it really is more of a preference, and you bring up a good point. You're using Google Drive to organize your files. So if you're just uploading files, if you don't upload them into or creating files, they'll just be at the top level here on My Drive. And so it's really nice to, you have the option to create folders. So I always like to create folders and put my files in those folders, but it's really a personal preference. If you want to go into the actual app itself and create your files there, then you can decide you may need to copy or move them around into different folders. Or you can simply just start from Google Drive right here. I'm in my finances folder, exactly where I want to add my new file. New, maybe I'm, creating a spreadsheet. And what it'll do, Google knows when it opens up Google Sheets and you start creating a spreadsheet, it knows to put it right in your finances.
That makes
folder.
sense. Yeah.
So just nice. I like
Helpful.
using it. Yeah, it is. Any other questions before
Yes,
we
I have
wrap
a
up?
question.
Sure, Marion.
When I open my drive, I have an icon, and I open the icon, it does not come to the same page that you come to.
Marion, what type of a device are you on today?
I'm on an Apple iPad.
Yeah, right. So the iPad devices look just a teeny bit different. And what I'll be doing is in the after class notes, I'm going to be attaching a file, a document that has screenshots of what you'll need to tap on to access these different menus. The menus are the same. You'll see this menu.
I don't have that.
Right, and you will. I'm going to show you. You'll see in the screenshots what you need to tap on to get to those menus on your iPad.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Remember, I'm on a PC today, so I'm working on the web version, the browser version, and I just my menus I access them using just different buttons. That's all. Yep.
Okay,
Sorry about that one.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. And for those of you who are interested in taking some additional classes for Google, I'm on the Get Set Up website right now. And one of the easiest ways to locate a class that you might be interested in is if you come up to this upper left-hand corner where it says search classes and groups. If you click in that search field, and I'm just going to type out the word Google. I didn't even type it out correctly. You'll see that these are all of the different classes that we offer for the Google apps right there. And so if I typed it out correctly, now, well, let me do this. And so it's just a fast way of being able to locate some additional classes that we provide specifically for Google. And since I'm on the Get Set Up site, let me just also mention to you, it's really easy to see upcoming classes that are being held today. And so here we are at Google Drive Basics. I am just going to click on this little arrow button here. And it's going to scroll through just the different classes that we have going on later on today. So lots of great stuff, coping with stress. If you wanted to know about Amazon Prime, what that's about, what are the benefits, brain health. So there's like everything going on here, a lot to do. So with that, I am going to wrap it up for today. I want to thank everyone for joining me. Sorry we had a little hiccup there in the beginning of class, but thanks for hanging in there. And I hope to see you in other classes. I teach other Google classes and Zoom classes, Snapchat, TikTok. Come back and join me. And remember, you can take this class as many times as you wish, and just practice. And I'll be sending after class notes today with answers to some of those great questions that you asked. So I'm going to stop my share, and I want to thank everyone for joining me today. And have a great rest of your day, whatever you may be doing. And, sorry that I think my video has just been going in and out. So take care, everyone. Thank you for joining me. And there I am.
Thank you.
Crazy video.
Thank you.
Thank you.